Following being excused, Bitcoin is showing a little return and going to our help level. The video on concluding Bitcoin's cost is fundamental, as it watches out for the coming appearance of CPI information and frameworks the critical exchanging levels for the next hours. Regardless, we should review our video from yesterday before we start. We assessed our gigantic help area of around 42,000. Lately, the help level for Bitcoin was broken and the value began to move lower. It illustrated a higher low on the Bibit outline in excess of a 2-hour time frame along these lines. For what reason was there a decent opportunity of the cost going up, or maybe a fair opportunity of it getting to a higher level? We ought to take a gander at our CVD pointer. What's more, check the outlines from different trades like Coinbase and Bitstamp. Regardless, expecting you take a gander at the BNB outline, you will see that the CVD marker is showing a lower low while Bitcoin is beginning to shape a higher low. The strain from purchasers is solid, so the cost didn't go lower, which offers a positive hint for the market. To this end, we are seeing the cost go up by around 4% from the base. Expecting that we take a gander at the Coinbase and Bitstamp charts now, there is a decent entryway that the cost will go up on the grounds that it has gone higher than the past, coming up short on the two trades. On Bitstamp, the cost has gone lower, and on Coinbase, the outline is apparently comparable, 0.1 more beat spot down. This lower low was illustrated with a great deal of exchanging movement, particularly on the 4-hour outline. There was genuinely exchanging action. When the cost went down, showed up diversely comparable to when it went up following appearance up at the past low. Individuals down there got hurt undeniably. The money-related exchange went down in any case, is at this point going up again, considering the way that more individuals are purchasing stocks. This is making the market appear distinguishably truly captivating. That is the means by which I see it. This point, we can see a 5-wave anticipate the Coinbase outline, yet a 3-wave anticipate the BNB chart. Anyway, might we at any point check out at the graph for Coinbase? On the 4-hour or perhaps the 2-hour diagram, we can see another negligible cost. We can in this way see a representation of 5 waves, first up, then down, then up, then down, eventually down once more. It appears as though there are 5 waves going down. On the Coinbase graph, we see another high at 44,700. Regardless, on the more unassuming diagram, we can't say there's a 5-wave cost plan. At this point, there is another choice accessible. I need to show you that in the event that this count is right, Bitcoin is real trim and overwhelm fix. What does it mean? The sliding improvement we're seeing is only the start of our wave. This second, we are completing our wave, and there may be a B wave right away, which would mean one more shortage of a fix. Likewise, in this way, we were pushed down again to wrap up. Our ABC modification no doubt won't be right, since we can consider 3 waves went against to 5. This is like the very thing we saw on Bibit, considering the way that it had a higher high. We discussed this yesterday. That is the clarification. We likewise need a substitute technique for counting. Right when we take a gander at it, I like to utilize the Coinbase outline and look at an ABC fix. So, right when we take a gander at the drop in costs, I acknowledge, considering everything, it was a powerful decrease in 3 phases, as opposed to an amazing drop. That is the clarification we could besides consider, meaning this entire change as a 3-portion cost plan. At this point, we can say our wave is here as we go with our ABC. Our progression outside seemed to be our B wave, and when we drove further, it seemed to be our C wave. Therefore, we can say that this was a fundamental fix. We can in this way say exactly the same thing with a 2-fold diagram. We have 3 waves, A, B, and C. Since we appeared at a higher pinnacle, and there's conceivable appearing at a basically higher top during a level change. Precisely when an ABC is finished, and Bitcoin is at present, after an unpleasant dismissal, seeing a little recuperation back into our help region. Regardless, the present Bitcoin quote video will be a gigantic one, since we genuinely need to look at CPI information discharge, and in addition the thing other going with key levels that we can be needing to exchange from in the approaching hours. In any case, what we, most importantly, will see, survey the previous video. We discussed our huge area of help at around 42,000. The help with night out yesterday, tragically, it was broken towards impediment, and Bitcoin startlingly began shaping some sort of a higher low looking on the 2-hour time frame on the Bibit chart. At this point, for what reason was here a really high likelihood of a skirt here, or absolutely a high likelihood of a recuperation or something like that? I would agree that we genuinely need to take into the thought our CVD pointer, and in addition the format from different trades like Coinbase. What's more, Bitstamp. Specifically, at the present time, looking on the BNB frame, you will see lower low was illustrating on our CVD pointer, while Bitcoin out of nowhere begun shaping a higher low, or something like that. So what's the significance here? Negative strain was coming in the market according to a certifiable point of view conclusively at the low here. However, more noticeable players were holding. The standing strain, thus the cost didn't make a fresh out of the plastic new lower low ingestion. Bullish CVD uniqueness happening, the incredibly base here. Bullish sign, and to that end right now we are seeing this especially great push towards the conceivable increment. And assuming we truly measure it from the base here to the area where we are exchanging as of now, genuinely more than 4%. Eventually, why, on the off chance that we go right now with the Coinbase graph, what's more with the Bitstamp chart, we likewise got a truly high likelihood of one more push towards the conceivable increment, fundamentally considering the way that on both of those trades here, we took out our past low. On Bitstamp, a lower low has illustrated what's more, looking on the Coinbase chart, a great deal of like thing.an impeccable lower low. Moreover, this lower low here was shaped on a really colossal volume going at this point. For instance, on the 4-hour stretch of time, you are in any case going to see there was a higher volume increment versus what we got on this particular push towards some side straightforwardly following, taking our past weight, which essentially construes individuals at the low here without a doubt got obliterated. Swing disappointment plan. A liquidity snatch in a blend-in with bullish uniqueness with upkeep happening unequivocally at the base. And to that end in some activity as I would see it we are correct as of now seeing this extremely pleasant recuperation. This remarkably beguiling push toward the probable increment. At this point something urgent, that we can right as of now see will be a 5-wave cost structure on the Coinbase outline, in any case just a 3-wave cost structure on the BIB chart. Might we at any point go as an issue of some importance with the Coinbase diagram here? Expect on the 4-hour or perhaps on the 2-hour time frame, since we got an unsullied lower low development here, we can perceive some sort of a 5-wave cost structure. That being said, first drive here, change, another motivation, another fix, and one more motivation towards inconvenience. It seems like we can count 5 waves plainly towards downside. On the Coinbase diagram, yet then again, we can't inspect a 5-wave cost structure here on the young person chart, in light of the fact that certainly here, we got a fresh out of the plastic new higher high at 44,700. At this point there is likewise a decision counted. I could besides have to show you, yet unintentionally, expecting this here is a right count with our 5-wave cost structure, we can say that Bitcoin is most presumably shaping a confused fix. What's the significance here? This push towards the detriment was correct. Now the central drop down with our wave. Precisely when we are correct by and by seeing our wave getting done, obviously, a B wave is conceivable, and that gathers one more deficiency of a change. Moreover, consequently obviously, one more push towards disadvantage for us to complete essentially. Our ABC change, something we as of late inspected yesterday, however at the present time, imagine what is going on where our 5-way structure here is certainly not a right count, and we can count 3-wave cost structure relative what we besides got on Bibit considering the way that as alluded to here, it was a higher high. Similarly, to that end we moreover need to have an elective count or something to that effect. Precisely when that is the very thing that we discuss, I would notwithstanding go with the Coinbase outline and look at an ABC remedy. That being said, right when we take a gander at this particular push towards the damage, I genuinely acknowledge that most plausible we can concur it was decidedly a 3-wave cost structure, as opposed to a motivation. To that end we can comparably stamp this whole change as a 3-wave cost structure. So going right now with our ABC, we can say our A wave here, our B wave, and in addition with our push towards outside, we can really say it was our C wave. Subsequently, we can say that this here was a level kind of a revision. We can in this way say a for the most part identical to thing with a twofold structure here. We got a wave, we got a B wave, and also we got a C wave here. Why so? Since we got a H. The guess is that it will be 3. The number before this one was 3. Could you, whenever accepting nobody minds, change the text you are recommending? Express as a result of thus, we will probably see a little expansion in the Bitcoin cost. Before we begin analyzing where it's difficult for Bitcoin to go up, we should discuss where it needs to go up right away. This is enormous as a result of the CPI information that is coming out soon. I figure we ought to zero in on the area where costs remain nearby. We examined how this locale here seems, by all accounts, to resemble a model shaped before Bitcoin began to plunge under a help level. This level is basic. As of now, I'm checking the 4-hour period of time since there was a 4-hour request block. At this point, might we at some point additionally utilize the Fibonacci retracement to gauge the entire move in one bearing, and you'll see our objective Fibonacci degree. At this point, I think you are correct. It's not unequivocally matching our 4-hour request block, yet we can see that the objective Fibonacci degree is appearing close to our past lows. At this point, when we really examine our bottommost cutoff points as of now and the 4-hour block of requesting, we can see that we can interface the most significant and bottommost cutoff points to make an opposition region. In like manner, here, that is the very thing that you'll find on the off chance that Bitcoin goes up in the going with a few hours. It could broaden a ton considering the insane changes in the market taking into account CPI information discharge. Certainly, this will happen now. Our start A region in the local that is difficult to make due or safe. I'm not unequivocally amped up for selling Bitcoin at the present time, however in the event that you got it at a lower regard, this could be an extraordinary chance to sell some and make an increment. In the event that the cost goes up beyond a specific point on the outline, a more critical degree of impediment is at 44,000. A few hours sooner, we saw a feasible negative cross on the 1-hour graph when we checked our moving midpoints out. Without a doubt, our 50 and 200 moving midpoints crossed in a plunging heading. Really, I don't think this is an entirely grievous sign for Bitcoin, definitely. At the present time the model for the following hour is getting somewhat more fragile, yet I truly think so. We should purchase or handle a stock at immense help levels. What's our most foremost area of help where we can hope to purchase another stock or grasp it? On the off chance that the constant Bitcoin cost remains something practically indistinguishable for the rest of the day, and it's in the green, then we will have another common cost. Longer time frame, place where the cost is kept up with, unequivocally at 41,245. Assuming we see the cost go down, it could retest the ordinary level. We could likewise see some obstacle at that level. Furthermore, we besides imagine that things, as a rule, are right now looking positive. That is the explanation. The marvelous Fibonacci degree and the customary outline can show us a good spot to purchase Bitcoin at another more imperative cost. We can put a stop fiasco interest under the help locale, which is under 41,200. At this point, our Ether stochastic TGO oscillator on the common chart is showing a good reset. We went falling with a push and made a turn from the remarkably top on the right side. At this point, we are near selling more than we have. Exactly the same thing is occurring dependably. Moreover, we are beginning to move plunging considering how Bitcoin is consistently going down. I don't acknowledge it's too oversold yet, however we are seeing fairly reset. We are before long seeing to some degree diminishing. As of now, when we were exchanging high, the cost of Bitcoin went down somewhat at any rate, by then advanced forward up. We went down to the oversold region and a brief time frame later Bitcoin went up. Thusly, I think when this one is being purchased absurdly, or when the cost is going up on the graph here, it proposes it's likely an uncommon chance to purchase Bitcoin. I truly feel that, if all else fails, we can be perfect about Bitcoin. Taking everything into account, we could expect the whenever surmise will be 3.1 and the past one was authoritatively 3.2. So accordingly, no doubt in the approaching hours, we can expect higher unexpectedness in the Bitcoin regard itself. Moreover, before we really look at an area of prevention that was not alluded to yesterday, eventually, what is the going with urgent area of obstruction? We should be know all about expecting that Bitcoin will see a push towards the logical expansion in the looming hours as a result of the CPI information deliver here. I would agree that we want to focus in on the past area of solidifying. Eventually, obviously we inspected it, this region here, it seems like it was some sort of a cost activity that was shaped before one more breathing space towards impediment, before Bitcoin genuinely began losing our area of help. Similarly, hence I would agree that this level here is a tremendous one. Similarly right by and by looking on the 4-hourly time frame, since it was really a 4-hour request block. Before long, furthermore, imagine what is happening where we go with our Fibonacci retracement and we will assess the whole move towards some side. You will see that our objective Fibonacci degree. Before long, I would concur with you. It's not in any way concurring with our 4-hour request block, however we can see that the objective Fibonacci degree is landing by and large at our past lows. Eventually, when we take a gander at our past lows, furthermore our 4-hourly requesting block, obviously, we can interface our past ups and besides our past downs to move toward a zone of check or something like that. Also, here you're really going to see that tolerant Bitcoin right now in the next few hours go on with higher, perhaps weights towards the probable expansion considering crazy unpredictability that we can expect in the approaching hours, as a result of CPI information discharge. Obviously, this here will be at the present time our first neighborhood obstruction. At this point, at last, I'm not exactly captivated going with a short or a sell position at this point on Bitcoin. However, in any case, this here, in the event that you're perhaps in a long or a purchase position from the base here, obviously can be perhaps a first take benefit region. Anticipating that our marvelous pocket and our zone of opposition here, does he break towards the conceivable increment, a more huge level, then, at that point, it will be just our two ordinary high-term time from areas of protections at 44,000. Eventually a couple of hours sooner, we got a feasible negative cross on the 1-hour period of time, checking our brilliant moving midpoints out. So unquestionably, our 50 and besides our 200 earth-shattering moving common got a negative cross. Eventually, frankly, I wouldn't actually say that this here will be a very awful Bitcoin sign. Without a doubt, we can convey that on the 1-hour time frame, the model as of now is genuinely devastating, yet I would notwithstanding agree. We can be intrigued going with an ideal long or a tough spot position at key areas of help. At this point, what will be our most critical area of help where possibly we can be searching for an ideal long or a tough spot? Expecting that Bitcoin will close our customary fire, as it is the ongoing second, that being said green, we will demand an impeccable ordinary High-term timeframe, area of help, authoritatively at 41,245. That is the clarification in the event that we do see, obviously, a push towards prevention, a retest of our ordinary level, and you will see that expecting there will be a slight dismissal at our zone of opposition, as alluded to ahead of time, obviously, can comparatively be stunning. Fibonacci degree can be our standard level also, other than we will comprehend that general talking, we are as of now looking sort of bullish. That is the clarification. Impressive Fibonacci degree and the standard can be a region where we can be searching for an absolutely new expanded, or a purchasing position on the Bitcoin regard itself with an extraordinarily clear stop episode situation under our help district, under 41,200. Before long, when we go with our various pointers, for instance, our Ether stochastic TGO oscillator on the regular period of time as of right at present is seeing an unbelievably brilliant reset, with a push towards the obstruction, we wound from the upper here. Likewise, as of the ongoing second, we are coming to basically the oversold locale. Besides, an especially like thing is additionally occurring on the bit-by-bit time frame. Here, we began bowing towards drawback right now that Bitcoin is seeing this little push towards burden. Eventually I would agree that it's not